For 6 years, the Times Now Summit has gone beyond capturing India's rise. It has helped shape what comes next. As Times Now marks 20 years of credible, accountable journalism, the focus is not just on the journey so far, but on the road ahead. Because today, India is not just rising, it is leading. From digital innovation to global influence, the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047 is already taking shape. And the question now is clear. Not whether India will rise, but how it will lead. At the Times Now Summit, the country's most influential voices come together to define that path. And that brings us to this year's theme, celebrating Times Now at 20, shaping India at 100.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about India's journey to 2047, which would be incomplete without addressing the power of human capital, be it from healthcare access and innovation to nutrition, gender equity, or community-led change. The real measure of progress will lie in how inclusive and sustainable that growth truly is in each industry. Joining us today is a panel of luminary women leaders from philanthropy, healthcare, leadership, and public advocacy, each shaping impact in their own way. I would now like to request my colleague Hina Gambhir to lead the discussion on powering India's journey to 2047. And please do join me in welcoming the panelists. Archana Vyas, Director, India Office Gates Foundation, Dr. Sangita Reddy, Joint Managing Director, Apollo Hospitals Group, and Mira Rajput Kapur, Founder, Dhun Wellness, and Co-Founder, Akind Beauty. Please put your hands together in welcoming our panelists.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got three exceptional women here who have shattered the proverbial glass ceiling in their respective fields. They have actually redefined success, and today they are an inspiration for a lot of women in India and across the world. So before I get to the business, because we're here to talk about how can we become Viksit by 2047, and the focus is going to be healthcare. Before I get to that, let's talk a little bit about their wonderful stories. Let's start with you, Dr. Sangita Reddy, youngest daughter of Dr. Pratap Reddy, who literally revolutionized the entire healthcare system in India. And you have carved your own distinguished path in a family of doctors. Tell us a little bit about the challenges you faced and where you are right now. How is it like?
Women have made tremendous strides, and I think the country and the world has made tremendous strides in its appreciation of the critical role that women play. But there is still so much more for us to do. With just 35 to 40% participation, labor force participation of women, such a long journey still ahead of us, and scary statistics from the World Economic Forum and McKinsey saying that it will take us more than 150 years to reach this equality. But inspiring and enthusiastic responses from women in self-help groups, women in MSMEs, women in industry that I had the privilege of, interacting with. Whenever you tell them, equality is going to take you 150 years, they simply say one thing, and that is, we will not wait. But the fabulous thing was that my dad 40 years ago did not wait. He brought his 4 daughters into healthcare and into the business, and I think we grew up hearing, so sad, Dr. Reddy, he only has 4 daughters. And we worked at changing this paradigm, and today I'm very happy to say that many people say, lucky Dr. Reddy has 4 daughters.
And so we're lucky to have you here in front of us.
It's a pleasure to be here. So I won't say it's been, it's not a tough journey. It's, for me, very blessedly, I think it's been an inspired journey. Just working along with him, with someone with a vision and a passion to make a change, and seeing the gratifying response that many people like all of you and public have given us has always inspired Apollo to do more, and I believe it's my privilege to have served.
Wonderful. Ms. Archana, you're the first woman to lead the Gates Foundation's India office in nearly 2 decades. What does this milestone really mean for you, and how was the journey really?
Thank you once again, and thanks for having me here. Sangita, always a privilege to hear from you, and truly inspired. And thanks to Dr. Reddy as well, bringing all 4 daughters forward and taking the healthcare journey forward. As far as Gates Foundation is concerned, I'm privileged to be leading the office now, and I think I build on a strong legacy of my predecessors, all men, but they've done exceptional work. The foundation has been in India for close to 25 years. It is a place where we've learned a lot. And my ambition is to, the mission of the foundation does not change. Our mission is still focused, and, what we say is that we believe that all lives should have equal value. So that mission stays, it is consistent. But I think what I would bring forward is the accelerated pace of development. The fact that we've been in the country for more than 25 years, I think India's trajectory and India's own ambition has changed. We have a Viksit Bharat vision of 2047. The foundation, not many would know, but I can tell you that last year our chair announced that the foundation will have a life of over the next 20 years. In fact, the foundation will sunset by 2045, coincidentally aligned with the Viksit Bharat vision of 2047. So what we are bringing forward pretty much aligned with the country's vision of an accelerated pace of development. So we're urgent to see that people should have a healthy life, people should have a productive life. We work with poor and vulnerable people who are disadvantaged, and therefore our pace will be faster to see them get better health, to see them get better financial services, even in agriculture, that farmers and small landholding farmers should have better productivity, they should have better profitability. So the areas that we work in, we will work alongside India and aligned with national priorities to see the progress. Thanks.
Fantastic. We'll of course be delving deeper into the initiatives that you plan to take in just a bit. But before that, Ms. Mira Rajput Kapur, a Delhi girl who I believe loves Mumbai more than Delhi, married into a family of some of Indian cinema's biggest icons, also carved out her own vibrant entity. How did that happen? Where did that idea really come from?
I'm a part of a family of girls, and your family has always been that poster family of a family of girls taking the legacy forward. So I'm really privileged and honored to be here with you today.
I should add, even I'm a family of girls, by the way.
That's lovely.
Coincidence.
I think that itself is testament to the fact that women can do anything. My journey from Delhi to Bombay, I think women play various roles in their lives, and I feel that we have to be proud of the roles that we play. It's almost like a feather in our cap rather than something that's stopping us from chasing our dreams, following our ambitions, dreaming big, dreaming unrealistically sometimes. For me, I think identity is a very strong part of who I am, my own identity. But I feel I'm very proud to have an identity that values all the relationships that I have as well. And I think that's what's made me who I am today. I think that as a woman in my 30s today, I'm at that unique cusp, as many other women in their 30s, where we're chasing our own ambitions, but we're also raising a generation of children where women empowerment isn't a dream, it's a reality, where equality is the reality. So they don't think that they need to find equality or empower each other or find empowerment. And I think that for me is a personal goal aside from my ambitions. But I think, seeing a generation of children where they are the same. They have the same dreams, the same drive, the same mistakes. And sometimes if, you're telling your child, don't hit your sister, but, don't hit a girl, but you should tell her not to hit a boy. And it really did make me think that they don't come from a space where there is any difference between the two of them. And I think our generation has that responsibility to raise a generation of children and leaders of the future where equality is a baseline.
Now, talking about, what we have all gathered here to discuss today, which is how can we become Viksit by 2047? It's a goal that the leader of our country has talked about many a times, and all our policies are now focused on ensuring we achieve this goal on time by 2047. So this question is for each one of you, one by one. I want to ask you, what is that one thing really that India must achieve for it to truly become Viksit by 2047 in your area of interest or your area of expertise? Let's start with you, Dr. Reddy.
So I think I have to give you the expected answer. We cannot become a Vikasit Bharat before we become a Swasth Bharat. So we need to get our Health Act right first. And I'm not just saying this because I'm in healthcare. Data has proven time and again that every rupee or dollar that you put into healthcare gives you a 5x return in terms of productivity gains or in terms of saving of taking care of people who are unwell or the DALY or the disability adjusted life years. So that is, one of the biggest points towards this. But let me take this a little further. It is very clear that healthcare is no longer just a cost center to take care of people. Healthcare is today a socio-economic driver. It's a generator of jobs. It's an economic engine where you not only bring in international revenue through patients who are coming from all over the world to be treated in India, but also the manufacturing side of healthcare, the pharmaceutical side of healthcare. One of the things I look forward to seeing is India is considered the pharmacy of the world. We need to also be the hospital of the world. And then I want to take this even one dimension further, which is that we often tell healthcare people that there is only one question you should ask whenever you take a decision. Whatever you do, is it good for the patient? But today, it's not just about treating patients. The knowledge we have, the science that's come in, the capability, the education, the communication, have all put healthcare in the hands of every individual. And therefore, we are now looking not just at life expectancy, but at healthy life expectancy. And that is now the question is, anything that you do, are you doing it to maintain the health of the population? So population health is really the next parameter. And I want to add that yesterday actually we had this large summit of the Healthcare Federation, Nat Health, and Bain came out with this report which said that a healthy country can actually save $1 trillion of our economy by the fact that you bring in productivity of people. The last point I'll say before coming over is that India has this unique opportunity of 3 decades of demographic dividend where the healthcare costs are underwritten by the young population because of the youth and the lower incidence of ailments. But within these 30 years, we have to get our act together. In fact, even faster, because every minute we wait of not building a bed or training a doctor or empowering a nurse, we may be losing a life. So healthcare must become a priority. It's a socio-economic engine. It's a facilitator of growth. So to get to Viksit Bharat, we need a Swasth Bharat.
I think 2 interesting takeaways there. If we want to become Viksit, we need to become Swasth. And second, we need to now aim to also become hospital of the world from just being pharmacy of the world. Very well said. Ms. Archana.
So plus one on everything that Sangita has said. I think Viksit Bharat is not about how fast we grow. I would just add another dimension. It's also about how wide we grow. So a Viksit Bharat means an inclusive India where everybody grows, and it is not necessarily those who grow fast go faster. So with that perspective, I would say, women mostly are left behind. Again, Sangita had spoken about women's labor force participation, which is growing fast in India, but even if it progresses from about a 43% to 50%, will increase our GDP by 1%, which is pretty significant. Women are about 50% of our population, and not only do they, and a large part of women actually who work, they work in informal economy. So it's not about getting more jobs for women or getting them to enter into the labor force. It's also about productive assets, so that they are able to grow faster, they're able to, gain much more income than what they're doing right now. So one is about how women can be included, but it's also about how people who are being left behind are also included. Government is so it's not about access. I would say in India it's also about saturating programs now. How do you get to the last mile? It is also about the quality of programs. We've done extremely well in terms of getting access to healthcare and other provisions to people, but it is now about improving the quality of that access. And the third thing that I would say is also about convergence, because a lot of the programs do tend to be siloed in nature. So going back to women's economic empowerment, we've got about 100 million women who are part of the self-help groups, about 110 million women who are part of the agriculture sector, because they're about 65% of agriculture sector, but there's a lot of convergence between women who are part of the self-help groups as well as agriculture. If we are able to converge those programs, but also the other programs, because there are bank sakhis, there are pashu sakhis, convergence will get us to better yields and will get India to grow faster and deliver the vision of Viksit Bharat.
Mira, like we are speaking about AI, innovation, and a lot of other things, but I want to specifically, talk to you about Ayurveda, because you're also a proponent of holistic wellness. I mean, something that also India gave to the entire world. Can you tell us why it is important for this generation? Why is it important for Bharat to become Viksit?
So Ayurveda translates to the science of life, and it's been a passion of mine, and I've come to realize as I've studied it that Ayurveda is a way of life. Yes, there is a diagnostic side and a prescriptive side, but more than that, it is a way of life. And it integrates into our life so seamlessly, whether it is our eating patterns, our sleeping patterns, what foods suit which body type, what kind of meals together will aggravate or pacify a particular condition, whether it's acidity, it's sluggishness, excessive sleep, being very restless in your mind. And I think it really enables one to understand oneself. And I think for the generation that I'm a part of and going forward, in fact, everyone, to know oneself is the biggest asset you can have. And if you want to lead a long and healthy life, you should be able to understand what works for your body, what works against it, what triggers your body, and what can compound over a period of time to evolve into disease. So it's more of the preventative side of healthcare before you actually get into an active problem. And it is very, very empowering. It is thousands of years old, and it may not be proven with data the way that we would like to consume today, but the fact that it has been time tested in itself is a different kind of metric for it to be proven. And I have seen it for myself, whether it's a pulse diagnosis or a tongue analysis, it asks you to think how you are feeling. if you are feeling too sleepy and tired in the morning, or if your thoughts are racing too fast, if your skin is very dry and your hair is falling off. Those are simple signals for you to get back into a state of balance. And I think it's time we appreciate what India has given to us and what Bharat has given to us. It is part of our culture, it's part of our tradition. And if we are not proud, somebody else will take it, package it, and give it back to us. So it's about time we value what we have in our tradition and our culture, and it is part of our traditional health system. So why shouldn't we take what we have, integrate it with the processes of AI and the processes of, conventional healthcare, and use that to create a new, unique system of healthcare that works both at a cellular level, at a mental level, while honing a method of healthcare that has been made for this body type, in this geography, keeping in mind the temperature and the weather systems and the soil and the kind of, heat or humidity that we are used to. It's 3,000 or 5,000 years old. So it has been made for our body type and our genotype. So let's now use that to create that system of healthcare that naturally works for the Indian body. So I think to be aware of Ayurveda for all Indians today, regardless of age, is to have, a real, it's a little prize that you have. It's a little, gem, and we should learn about it. If it's not the method you'd like to diagnose or, prescribe,
Right.
just think of it as simple tips to integrate into your daily life.
Absolutely. Very well said. And I'm completely out of time, but thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here today on this interesting discussion on what's really needed for India to become Viksit by 2047, especially in the healthcare sector. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us.
Thank you, ladies, for the thought-provoking conversation, for breaking the glass ceiling and carving a path for everyone else. Hina, I request you to please honor our guests with a token of appreciation. A big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen, for this panel, for the thought-provoking conversation, and for the wellness tips that we all got through it.